Now, let's go to today's Chumash. We're continuing a very, I actually want to take you guys to WhatsApp for a second. Hold on. Let's go to this class. Okay, I want to just show you. I mean, I tried to look it up. The Kahas Chumash I used did not show any pictures. So I don't know exactly where they were standing, but I know a little bit. We know about what they were. So let's just get the map here. Let's go back. So, what am I doing here? Sorry. Okay. So we know that they went to Bilam, the prophet, the non-Jewish anti-Semitic prophet, lived in a place called Midian, which was to the south. So that's Midian. You see on the bottom of the map, you have Midian. Edom is, we're going to read about that. That's Rome is going to come from them. And we know what Rome did to Israel, destruction of the second temple. We'll actually learn about that in the prophecies. But we're not talking about Edom. If you continue up north, you get to the country of Moab. So the Moabites are the one who hire Bilam, the king of Moab called Balak, hires a guy called Bilam from the south in order to curse the Jewish people. The reason why he particularly wants to curse the Jewish people is, as you'll see here, the Jewish people conquered from the Arnon River north, the whole area, till the Yabok River over there, and even maybe further, besides the country, a little circle of Ammon. They conquer, and they're in the plains of Moab, where Moshe is going to die there. But they're spread out, I guess. The Jews must be over the whole area here, 12 kilometers by 12 kilometers, and there's a lot of Jews. And the Moabites, who are to the south of the Arnon River, want to get rid of the Jews, so they hire Bilam to curse them. So it must be somewhere here on the border, on this Arnon River, somewhere here on high mountains. They are overlooking the Jewish people. Again, I was looking for a specific map of the cities. I didn't find one, but they must be that are from there. They're going to try and curse the Jewish people. It's just so you know a general map of what it looks like. Now we'll start the Chumash. We'll go into today's Chumash now and see what's going on over here.
Tell Justin, you need the.
Ira, I just put you on mute. Somehow you got unmuted, so I muted you. Unless you need something, you can unmute yourself again. So we're holding the Wednesday section, and we're going to go into some prophecy. You'll see some parables. We'll get there in a second. Vayelech Bilam. So Bilam goes with Balak, verse 39. Vayavoyu, and they come to a place called Kiryas Chutzos. And as Rashi says, a city of streets. As he explains, what does that mean? I don't know, that it's not a name of a town, I guess, but a very busy city, that there's a lot of people living there, and there's full of markets over there. And again, why is Bilam going with Balak? Why is Balak taking the prophet Bilam to this place? Because he wants Bilam to curse the Jews. And he's telling Bilam that the Jews want to uproot this and get rid of this whole big city here. And really, it's not true. The Jews never touched and never threatened that country, the Moabites. But this is what he wants to do, but he wants to take him to a very busy, bustling city to get him to curse the Jews. And what happens next? Yizbach Balak Bakar, and King Balak slaughters cattle, it's sign and sheep, and Rashi says it's one cattle and one sheep. It wasn't a lot of them, just one of them. Yishlach leVilam, and he sends them to the prophet Bilam, and to the dignitaries that are with him. Send them to them, I guess, to make them a nice supper, a nice barbecue. And he sends them one cattle and one sheep in order to offer them food. And I guess they go to sleep at night, and it comes in the morning, V'hiba boiker, and it comes in the morning, V'yikach Balak as Bilam, and Balak takes Bilam and he leads him Vayaleu Bamois Baal to a place of idol worship. So they had these, must have been like on these mountains or these towers, maybe these high mountains. They used it for an idol worship. By the way, it's a very famous idol called the Baal or Baal. And we're going to see this. This is going to lead the Jews into terrible destruction in history down the road. This idol is going to come up again and again. I'm not, the Rambam will get to that in the laws of Avodah Zarah and in our mitzvah class and so on. There's many different kinds of idol worship. But this one was a high mountain for this idol called Baal. Yar Misham, and over there on this high mountain by this idol, Kitzei Ha'am, they saw a part of the Jewish people. So he's able to view from this high idolatrous mountain where they're serving their idol up here. From that mountain, they could look down and they're able to see the Jews camping, as we saw on the map. I guess it must have been on the border of Moab to see from where the Jews were. A little bit, they could see the Jews from there. So I guess they're going on high mountains because maybe the Jews are not right there. You know, they got it, whatever, they want to see a certain amount of the Jews. Anyways, looking from there. But Yaimar Bilam el Balak. So now they have to plan out how they're going to curse the Jews. So the prophet Bilam tells Balak, B'nai Livazeh, build for me here Shiva Mizbachais. To do my magic, to do my curse, I need 7 altars. And prepare for me Shiva Parim, 7 cows, Shiva Elim, and 7 rams. So I need 7 altars, 7 cows, and 7 rams. And the numbers are very specific, and you're going to see, I don't want to give it all away, we'll see in Rashi in a minute. What he's trying to do is remove, as far as I understand it, when you'll see in today's Chumash, the protection of the Jewish people. What is the greatest protection of the Jewish people? And that is our forefathers. Our forefathers, Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov have been committed to Hashem and dedicated to God, right? And who could attack the Jews? So he's trying somehow to remove this unbelievable, amazing protection that the Jewish people have by being the children and grandchildren of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He wants to remove it, and he's going to specifically build 7 altars, 7 cows, and 7 sheep, and you'll see in a minute, you'll see in shortly why. Verse 2. Vayaz Balak asher dibar Bilam. So Balak goes and does what Bilam says. He goes and he builds 7 altars, and he brings 7 cows and 7 sheep. Vayal Balak uVilam par va'ayil, he brought the bulls, 7 bulls, va'ayil, and the rams. I guess it's va'ayil b'mizbeach on these altars. So then Bilam, vayomer Bilam leBalak. Bilam says to King Balak, Hisyatzav al oilasecha. You stand here with the sacrifices we brought. Ve'elcha, I'm going to walk away. I'm going to go away. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to move away. Ulai yikara Hashem. Maybe God will reveal himself to me. And remember, it's in the morning that they did this, so it's the middle of the day. Remember, we learned that God only comes to Bilam at night because it's an embarrassment that Hashem has to talk to such an evil, wicked person. So Hashem would only appear to him at night. But here, he's saying, let's try. Bring the altars. Let's see if we'll get it by day. And God will reveal himself to him by day. Why? Even though Hashem never does, because Hashem wants to bless the Jewish people. So he's going to go against the pattern that Hashem usually doesn't want to reveal himself to this wicked person, but Hashem will. So he moves, he says, listen, I'm going to go meditate. You stand here with the altar and the 7 altars and the sacrifices. I'm going to move away. Maybe God will reveal himself, L'krasi, to me. Udvar ma yir'eni. And I will know what God will show me. And God will, I'll know what God will show me in my prophecy. And I will tell you. And he went alone. He went to meditate alone in solitude. And he went to meditate, hoping that Hashem will reveal himself. And God does, as we see in verse 4. Vayikar Elikim el Bilam. And God appeared to Bilam. And Rashi tells us this word that's describing God appearing to Bilam is more like chanced. It's in a shameful way, like God's not excited about it. In very difficult and very not wanting to, not in a way that Hashem wants to. Hashem does not want to reveal himself to this person, but to bring because of his love for the Jewish people and the blessings that will come out, Hashem goes and reveals himself to this wicked anti-Semite. Vayomer Elov, and he says to Bilam, Shiva Mizbachais Arachti. No, so Bilam tells God, 7 altars. God, I made for you 7 altars. I made for you. Va'al par va'ayil, and I put on the 7 altars a bull and a ram. Va'mizbeach, on each of the altars I made a separate 7, one on each one. And what is his message here to God? And remember, I told you when we started that I said his goal is to remove the protection of the Jews. What's the protection of the Jews? Our forefathers. He says, Bilam tells God, it is famous that the forefathers who you love so much, who you're protecting the Jewish people by, built for you in their lifetime 7 altars. And I am going to outweigh all of them by building 7 altars equal to what each of them brought. In other words, I'm going to take away their protection. I am going to match up to what they did. And Rashi does something very interesting. He lists us all the times that it was done. He says, by Yaakov, the last of the 3, 2. We know that there were 2 times he brought sacrifices, the Torah quotes. And Rashi quotes the source. By Yitzchak, we know by 1 time. By Abraham, we know 5 times. Or is it, I guess, 4 times. By Abraham, 4 times. Yitzchak, a 5th time. And Yaakov, 6 and 7. And he quotes the times that exactly in the Torah. I'm not going to go into it now, but Rashi here quotes exactly where the Torah says that the forefathers brought the sacrifice. So I am here and I am matching up to these great men who their protection of the Jewish people. And not just am I like them. By Abraham, he only brought a ram, right? Maybe like remember Yitzchak, by the Kedas Yitzchak, he brought a ram up. I'm bringing a bull and a ram. So I am outweighing and outleaning the protection of the Jewish people. And I'm going to bring you sacrifices that should replace the great protection that they have. So Vayasam Hashem davar b'fi Bilam, Hashem put words into the mouths of Bilam. Yoimer shuv el Balak, and God tells him, go back to King Balak, and this is what you're going to say, right? This is what you're trying to do, and this is what you're going to say. Yashiv Elav, and Bilam goes back, V'hini nitzav alei, and he's standing there. King Balak is standing there on the right where he left him by the burnt offerings. And the king with all the dignitaries of Moab were there together with the king and the prophet. The anti-Semitic prophet comes back. Yisa Mishal, and he took up his parable. So again, we keep on mentioning this guy who speaks in riddles and parables and so on. So these are the words, and I'm going to decipher it with the help of Rashi here. Hopefully we'll explain to you what the meaning is. And he says, picks up his parable, his mashal, and he says, Min Aram Yancheni. From a place of Aram. Yancheni, you led me. The Jewish people were led from Aram. But I'm sorry. Yancheni Balak. Balak led him from a place called Aram. Melech Moav, the king of Moav. So you basically has brought me from the area of Aram, from the mountains of the east. And what did he say? From the eastern mountains, Maharei Kedem. And he says, L'cha ara li Yaakov. And what did the king want me to do? He want me to curse Yaakov. U'lecha zoyama Yisrael, and invoke wrath against Israel. So you double wording here. I wanted you to curse. The king of Balak said, I want you to curse Yaakov, and I want you to invoke wrath against Israel. Awaken Hashem's wrath against the Jewish people. Using 2 names, because one wasn't enough. You had to make sure that the Jewish people will be cursed. So the term curse and the term awaken wrath against the Jews, this is what you brought me from Aram, from the mountains of the east. You bring me here, the king of Moab, whose name is Balak, brings me here to the Moabite country to curse the Jews. And here's the response. Ma'ekoiv loikaboy kel. How can I curse them when Hashem has not cursed them? It's not possible. God, these people can't be cursed. And I'm going to explain to you why. We'll see in Rashi, very interesting Rashi here. These people are not cursed, so you can't curse them. Uma ezoim, and these people have no anger invoke against them. How can I invoke anger? When God is not angry. And Rashi has a very interesting explanation to what the meaning is. So let's start with the curse. The people are not cursed. Rashi says that there were times when the people should have been cursed, and each of those times in history when the people should be cursed, they were not cursed. When was it? And Rashi brings three cases. You know the famous story when Yaakov's sons, Shimon and Levi, wiped out the city of Shechem, and Yaakov was very angry. And he said, I'm not giving you a blessing when he's on his deathbed. He doesn't want to bless those 2 sons. You know what he says? He says, Ki ba'ap, it's a very beautiful wording, by the way. It's a good lesson in education. Ki ba'apam hargu ish. He says, Aru apam, cursed be their wrath. When you, I'll give an example, just in discipline, when you discipline your child, you never tell your kid you are a bad person. You say, I don't like the bad behavior that you're acting by. The person's not bad, the act is bad. So even here where Yaakov was very upset that his sons did something terrible, that he doesn't even want to bless them, at least not a detailed blessing, they're going to be included in the general blessing. He does not curse them. He curses their wrath. So here's a chance where it seems like they did something terrible and they're not cursed. Their wrath is cursed, but they're not cursed. And then we have this again in history. When Yaakov tricked Esav for the blessings from Yitzchak, instead of Yitzchak saying, "Cursed you should be your child for stealing the blessings, tricking me," Yaakov says, "No." Yitzchak tells his son Yaakov, who tricked his father to get the blessings, "You gam baruchia, you should still be blessed." That's a second time in history where maybe a curse should have come and it did not. And finally, we have a story in Devarim when we get there towards the end of the Torah. They will stand the Jews on the two mountains, on two mountains, and then say 6 blessings towards 6 of the tribes, and then turn to the other tribes and say the 6 curses, the punishments for Jews who don't keep the mitzvahs. And what it says there, it doesn't say the curses will be on you. The curses, you'll be ala klola, meaning that kind of you'll be on top. They're going to stand not to be cursed, but they're going to stand on the curses. So again, constantly in history, we have that there's a curse coming perhaps to the Jews, and every single time it's sorted, and the Jews don't get cursed. So Bilam is telling Balak in his parable, the words God's putting into his mouth, he's saying, these people are not cursed. You're bringing me here to curse them? Impossible. It's not possible. Every time in history they're supposed to be cursed, they're not cursed. And then he says something very interesting about the invoking rage. We're going to understand invoking anger of a wrath of God against them. He says something very interesting, and he's going to teach us a little bit of the skill set of Bilam. What was Bilam's skill set? Bilam does not make God angry with his curses at a certain nation. You know what he does? There's 1 millisecond during the day where God is angry for whatever reason, not getting into it now. And Bilam knew how to identify that millisecond, that second, that moment. And he knew how to give an evil eye at the moment that there's wrath in heaven, and bang, and that was one of his main skill sets, that he knew the moment, he could tell when it was, and he knew how to make the evil eye at that moment, and whoever he cursed would end up being cursed. And miracles of miracles, during the time when Bilam was trying to get in touch with that moment when God is in wrath, Hashem made sure to withhold the wrath to protect the Jewish people. So Bilam is saying, let's go back to the verse. How can I invoke wrath if the Lord has not been angered? I can't. It's not working. I'm usually able to do this, but for Hashem is withholding his wrath during this moment in order to protect the Jewish people, and it's not working. Let's go on. Okay, I see from the heads, from their origins, or from the rocks, from the heads of the rocks. Arenu, I see them. I see these people from the heads of rocks. I'm going to explain what that means. Umigvois ashurenu, and I see them from the hills, from the heights of the hills. I see these people. I see them from the heads of rocks, and I see them from the heights of the hills. What does that mean? Again, what was Bilam trying to do? Bilam was trying to curse the Jewish people to remove the protection of the Jewish people. He says, you know what? You know the Yiddish word gesha? You know where these people come from? You want to know where the Jewish people started? They come from mountains. They come from rocks. It's so strong. The people they come from, it's from Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, the mothers and the fathers. These people, you're not talking about regular people. You think I could just curse them? The beginning of these people, I'm going to bring a few altars and bring sacrifices and overdo them. It's impossible. I see their beginnings from mountains and peaks and behold them as hills. So that's again a parable. What does it mean, mountains, peaks, and hills? It's referring to the forefathers. And here goes a very interesting verse that people quote other things, but it's not what Rashi says. I'll share with you after. First, I want to share with you what Rashi says, and then it's a very fascinating verse about the Jewish people, how this anti-Semite is describing the Jewish people. Listen to what he says. Hein am levada yishkan. They are a nation, describing the Jews, that will dwell alone. They're a nation that will dwell alone. Uvagoyim lo yischashev, and they will not be reckoned among the nations. Very, very powerful, famous verse that's quoted. They're a nation that will dwell alone and will not be reckoned among the nations. What does that mean? So let's see how Rashi interprets it. First, Rashi says that this is what the forefathers merited for them, that they will dwell alone. But Rashi, the commentaries explain this Rashi to mean actually that when Mashiach comes, they will be the only nation that will be in peace, I guess, to dwell alone, who will merit the world, whatever that means actually, inherit the world to come. this nation alone is what Bilam is saying. Just them, the Jews, will be at the end of days, will be the one to inherit, or to inherit, destined to inherit the world, I guess he's saying even, will be the one at the end of the day. They come from Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Try all you want. They're going to, in the end of the days, they're the ones that's going to be here, to inherit the world. Now, what does it mean and not be reckoned among the nations? So Rashi explains like this. What does it mean that the Jews are not reckoned among the nations? Number one is that they won't be destroyed. When the nations of the world will be destroyed, the Jewish people won't be destroyed. Another interpretation, so the Jews are not part of the regular calculation of the world. They have their own destiny, and it's not part of the destiny of the rest of the world. Another interesting interpretation that Rashi gives is that when the Jewish people are happy and successful, it could be a period when the rest of the world is not happy and successful. Why? As I read one of the commentaries explain, the Jewish people don't operate in nature. The Jewish people operate in a way beyond nature. Maybe you could see that the Jewish people are still around. The rest of the world, if God forbid the world is not within a natural course, is not successful, things are not working out, the Jewish people will still be working out. So when the Jewish people are happy and successful, it could be the rest of the nations of the world that won't be successful, won't be happy because they're operating within nature and the Jews are operating beyond nature. That's the way the Jewish people operate. Another point Rashi makes is that even when the rest of the world is happy, the Jewish people are also happy, but they kind of prosper in their own way, not taking out the prosperity of the Jewish people. So if the Jewish people are prosperous, I guess maybe that's what some of the anti-Semites say about the Jews. The Jews are taking our prosperity. He's saying, no, the Jewish people don't operate in that natural way. Their prosperity comes from a higher source. So even if there's a nation, a non-Jews they're with, I guess, that are being prosperous, the Jews don't take from them when they're prosperous because they don't eat up from the prosperity of the rest of the world. They eat up of their own prosperity. So that's the word. They're not to be reckoned among the nations, meaning that they're not upon the calculation of the rest of the nations. And therefore, when bad is for the rest of the world, it could still be possible that the Jews are still successful because they work beyond nature. And number two, that when they are prosperous, the rest of the world, the Jews are prosperous too, but not within the prosperity of the rest of the world. And again, as we said earlier, is that in their nation that dwell alone, meaning that they will be the ones left in the end of days to inherit the world, and they won't be punished when the rest of the world is punished for the things that they've done. Now, I will mention that not here, many other, I think Shlomo Kalbach used to sing some songs. Interesting is that very fascinating verse, because can the Jews ever, that's the question, ever really be part of the nations of the world? Or is our destiny always meant to be that we travel our own course, we travel our own path? Which obviously it seems like that's the big debate, among people. Do we always have to operate on our own, or are we able to operate together with the nations of the world? And this verse, some people want to prove to say, is that it doesn't matter. You could try as hard as you want to become like everybody else, but it's not going to work. As Bilam is prophesizing here, you'll always be singled out and alone and different than everybody else. Fascinating, very fascinating verse. We'll take any questions anyone has after or comments. Let's continue to learn verse number 10. Mimana Afar Yaakov, who counted the dust of Yaakov. What does that mean? So we know there's a very famous saying that the Jews should be as much as the dust on the ground. So the Jewish people are, multiply, have so many kids, and Hashem counts their children even. Hashem counts every single child that's born. So dirt responds to the birth rate of the Jewish people. Mimana for Yaakov, who counts the dust of Yaakov, meaning as Hashem's blessing was, you should be as numerous as the dust of the earth. And Hashem counts every single child that's born is unique and special and counted. That's one interpretation. Another interpretation, what does it mean, who counts the dust of Yaakov? Rashi says, you know how many mitzvahs the Jews have? And Bilam is saying, God is making Bilam say, you want to start up with the Jews? You know how many mitzvahs they have? Just with the dust, how many mitzvahs they have? For example, there's a law, a Jew is not allowed to plow his field together with an ox and a donkey. There's a law, another law with the dust. They're not allowed to plant hybrids of different fruit and vegetables together. Then they have another law with the dust, that they have to burn the ashes, the red heifer, to dust. And they have another one about the adulterous woman who they have to take dust from the temple and put it in the cup in order to give her to drink it, and so on. So just in the dust, look how many mitzvahs the Jewish people have, and these are the people you want to uproot. Umispar, continuing in the verse, so that's what it means. Who counts the dust of Yaakov? Umispar Sarayva Yisrael, or counts a fourth, or the numbers of just a fourth of the Jewish people, 1/4 of the Jewish people. Or another term is to explain, or their intimacy that they have, that God is very involved in the creation of the child at that holy moment, at the procreation of the Jewish children when they're born. Tamois nafshi mois yisharim, and Bilam continues, may I die the death of the straightforward of this nation of the Jewish people, and let my end, if only my end, will be like them. Almost done. Bilam. So you can imagine the king hears all these blessings, these very interesting blessings that Bilam is giving the Jewish people. So King Balak tells Bilam, Ma'asisali, what you do to me? I took you here to curse my enemies, and you bless them. And Bilam, of course, responds, Vayan, he answers, Vayomer, and he says, Halo, yes, Asher Yasam Hashem Befi, only what God puts in my mouth, Eshmer L'dabar, must I take care to say. And really the choice, I guess, is not up to me. And I told you to begin with that this is what might happen. Any questions or comments on today?